Why, hello everyone. Welcome to, I guess you could say, a talk show, in a sense. Not really a fucking talk show, anyway. Kind of more of a, I'm not too sure what you would say. Yeah, what this is. Basically, I'm going to be covering what happened before I started streaming D&Ds, aka Dungeons and Dragons. Now, what happened before is, well, over the course of, I would say, 5 months. And we've only gotten probably just a more small bit of the campaign done. But D&D fucking expands over a long, long time. Now, some good campaigns have lasted years. Some are still even going to this day. That have started like in 2000 and still gone on. Hey, I'm still new to D&D, so. But let's get to what happened before. Now, as all of you know, I play as Carlisle Lambert, a ranger class, quote unquote ranger, but it has certain aspects that aren't normal to that of a ranger, aka multi-class. But here we go. I'm sorry if my storytelling sucks. Yeah. And I'm going off of what our DM has right now for basically a catch-up, in a sense. Campaign setting. Right off the bat. So, up to 20 years ago, the kingdom of Cherak and Sidaria were have existed as peaceful neighbors. Sorry. Let me reread that and see if I can't pronounce that a lot better. Up to 20 years ago, the kingdoms of Cherak and Sidaria have existed as peaceful neighbors. These two were originally one kingdom, the Northern Kingdom, under rule of an ancient king, Cherak Alorn. However, upon his death, excuse me, got something to do. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go help my mother with something. Yeah, I got myself situated again. Okay, where was I? Alright. However, upon his death, and by his last will and testament, the land was peaceful and divided between his son, Czech II, who remained in the North Reach, and Zandaria, his daughter, who was entrusted with the southern woodlands. And for nearly 500 years, these kingdoms shall share a maturity beneficial relationship. Or mutual beneficial relationship. Yeah. I can't talk. Sorry. But, yeah. The countries of Cherok and Sindaria were once under one banner. So, yeah. Some Sindarians have Cherok relations, and some Cheroks have Sindarian relations. So, I think get the picture a little bit. Cherok in the north is separated from the Great Ice Waste by Mount Cherok, which is home to some of the richest ore and gem deposits in the known world. So, lots of dwarves and lots of elvish worksmiths, or smiths, will basically be pretty much common, as well as human and halfling, depending on which area of Cherok you're in. Like in, I think, 2 episodes ago, basically, Balgor wanted a set of armor from a dwarf's blacksmith. So, you got dwarves, much others. But as far as our DM has basically let us look into that of Cherok. Okay, where was I? Cherok's formerly supplied Zandaria with metal and gems, while Zandaria, having access to rich farm ground and vast forests, has always supplied Cherok with timber and grain. So, both are beneficial to each other. Without one, the other dies. So, and without the other, that one dies. Because you need metal to basically support an army. Without metal, collapse. Okay, where was I? Unfortunately, poor management of Centaurian forest lands had left the country with almost none to her once sprawling woodlands. Only small pockets of timber remain far to the south. This has led to an even greater problem for Zandaria. Her neighbor to the south of Zandaria lies the kingdom of Arinda. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Slap me if someone... Hey, McLovebutt! How's it going, good sir? Okay, where was I again? And what did I do? Let me pop out the chat, so that's right here. Where was I? Long before the kingdom of Chirrut and Sandaria were divided into two, there was a great war with Arinda. Yep. When this conflict was finally settled, the Carnair Treaty was drawn up. This treaty dictated that the border between Arinda in the north would forever be the Kalmar River. I hope I'm saying that right. However, greed and necessity has sent Sandaria seeking after more forest land. Sandaria has breached this ancient treaty, sending lumberjacks and even soldiers across the river. Karnar, Sandaria has established outposts along the northern edge of Arinda-ish forests. As a result of her brash actions, she has found herself in a state of open war with Arinda once more. Sandaria is in a dire need of metal for the production of weapons and armor for the war against Arinda. Chirrut desperately needs timber and food to support the bustling mining industry. Bustling, not bustling. Yeah, my English is failing me again. No surprise there. With Sandaria out of timber and embroiled in conflict with Arinda, Chirrut has been forced to cut metal production. This has raised tension between these two peaceful neighbors, and there are rumors that Sandaria may be planning to even more drastic moves. And this is the setting of the story. That's pretty much every character in our D&D campaign has been set to. And yeah. Now this is where Carlisle first makes an entrance into that of the campaign. As Carlisle is pretty much basically, I guess you'd say, the best in terms of tracking, I guess? I'm not too sure. Opening. Carlisle steps into the doorway of the town hall, gazing towards the back of the I guess it would be... No, that would be correct. Gazing towards the back of the lobby, he saw the door to Governor Rex's office was standing open, a glow of candlelight flickering from within. To his This was his existence now, sorry. One moment of a rash action has landed Carlisle in this backwash post, far from his friends, far from his old unit. I guess I would word that a little bit differently, but hey, I'm not the DM. You sent for me, sir. Carlisle asked as he stepped into the commander's office. Yes, take a seat, Rack replied without looking up from his mountain of paperwork. You and I are not Yeah, let me reword that. You and I have a lot in common, you know. You have done well to keep your history a secret, but I know why you were sent here. Carlisle tenses up at the suggestion. How could this relative stranger know about his circumstance of his transfer? He was assured that none of the events to his transfer would be officially documented. I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Carlisle stammered. Relax. I only mean that none of us end up all the way out here in a place like Eldrixhaven without doing something to piss someone off. Bertram Reck, a seasoned officer in the Cherokee military, has seen his fair share of action. The broad scar across his right cheek bore evidence of someone who might want to question his past. Beyond that, however, few people in Eldrixhaven really knew how their leader had come to be governor of this little town. Of course, anyone who was anyone in the military knew that Eldrixhaven was the end of any person's military career, no matter how high their rank. A small port on the southeast coast of Cherokee, Eldrixhaven was the final major settlement on the Great Coastal Road. They called it a major settlement, sort of a bad joke. And this is pretty much setting the scene of how Eldrixhaven is in this instance. It was simply where the road ended. Originally built as a military outpost for the resupply of naval vessels, both in possession of the Gulf of Cherokee and the fact that Cherokee had a lack of enemies, and the now relative small town had lost its strategic importance in the eyes of the capital. Basically meaning the capital pretty much said, waste. Begone with thee. Is pretty much what they're saying. But, again, if you're any type of military strategist, you know full well that any leverage you got over your enemy is leverage well needed in a war. Which is common for basically anything, if you are a military strategist. But I'm not, so. Nor is pretty much anyone in the D&D campaign that we are all in. Basically, Balgor's player, Liesl's player, Thorn's player, Pinky's player, me, and Crivs. So, 6 characters. And yeah. Granted, in some retrospect, we are kind of strategists, but hey, it's a game. You cannot strategize about it almost anything. Okay, where was I? Bertram grunted as he rose to his feet, moving a giant stack of requisition orders to an iron chest, banded chest with the I can't say that. Royal seal painted across the top. Knight of the Crown, and here I am drowning in paperwork. Actually, I should have said that is the voice I use for Bertram. But oh well. Just a waste of time. The only danger here dime by paper cuts. May send a warrior to do a scribe's job. If we even received half of the supplies I'm asking for, it wouldn't be so bad. But as it stands, taxes are going out and nothing is coming in. So what do you want me to do about it? Carlisle thought. He thinks the crown is wasting his time, so he sees fit to waste mine. Ever since his transfer, Carlisle has sought to keep his head down, but his skills with a bow hasn't gone unnoticed. Bertram returned to his seat, finally giving his full attention to the noticeably unhappy ranger sitting across from him, aka Carlisle. Okay, where was I now? I don't have to tell you how bad things are, and I didn't call you here to waste your time. Daria is growing bolder by the day, and we haven't seen a free merchant ship across almost 3 weeks. Our shops are empty, and our people are growing desperate. Yet the crown continues to ignore the problem. If I didn't know better, I think the damn Sidarians were blockading the boar. Gods. If we're going to get through this winter, we're going to have to take stock of what we have. I'm putting you in charge of a hunting party. You will lead Liesel, Treya, and Thorns into the wilds across the river and scout for food and bring back what you can. I'll expect a full report in a week's time. And that's pretty much mission 1. Find food. But that doesn't really turn out to be that way, as I can tell you that. For what this doesn't cover, I'm going to have to basically come up with from memory. Carlisle and the group, after getting on a ferry, headed up the river into that of what we would all consider the outback of Charak, basically inlet. And about 3 days into that of the little adventure, Carlisle and Liesel, since Liesel is a rogue, as we know from the episodes that are on YouTube, and from what people have saw from me streaming it, well, you basically know as much as I do. And Carlisle and Liesel both noticed 2 guards. Very, very suspicious guards, too. And they're about half asleep, if I remember correctly. And Carlisle and Liesel tell the others behind them to basically wait here, and Liesel and Carlisle move up. There was approximately 2 bushes that both Liesel and Carlisle kind of hid behind. And they both noticed that these men were wearing Sindarian clothes. Has Sindarian emblems, basically plastered right in the front. And yeah. These 2 Sindarians took a little bit of a notice to a certain crack in the wilderness, and Carlisle imitated that of a wolf, kind of, well, coyote or something. And they're like, it's just a fucking wild dog, leave it be. Then right in the ass of one Sindarian. He's like, wolves don't fucking shoot arrows! And Liesel also lose a crossbow bolt right smack dab in the head of one Zendarian, and Carlisle loosed another arrow basically in the chest, piercing his chainmail, causing him to die before he even hit the ground. Both Zendarians dead within seconds. Not even raising the alarm. The other two came up as they heard a little bit of a commotion and crack of a crossbow activating and the thud of a longbow basically springing back and forth a little. Granted, not very loud, but 120-pound longbow does make a little bit of a noise. Very unique, too. And that was pretty much first battle. They come over and they notice that what the guards were basically guarding was like an elevator going up and down. They looked over the side and they saw, I think, 3 guards? Basically, all sitting around. Their weapons were in a triangle shape, about this. And they're basically just sitting around talking to each other, basically trying to waste time. And it's basically guarding there was fucking basically might as well be a waste of time anyway. According to them. And they met a unfortunate fate of, I think, 2 crossbow bolts, a 6 splash, and 1 arrow. They were dead. So, 3 enemies. KA. And Carlisle and Liesel basically communicated back between each other. Be right back. I'm gonna be gone for a little bit, people, so I'm gonna cut the stream here, and I'll be back when I can.